So, hello and welcome. My name's Steve the Bell, and today I'm speaking with Carol Nayach on Awakening Christ Consciousness Within. Now, Carol has been channeling the Arcturians for the last 3 years, and she leads a group working with the Arcturians in central London that meets weekly. So, Carol, hello.
Good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning.
Lovely to be speaking with you again.
It's lovely, and a great subject, Well, there's a great surge of interest now, I think, in Christ consciousness. Why do you think that is?
Well, because of the energies that the universe is sending into us at the moment, isn't it? And how we're all having our frequency raised. You know, it's the next level of human consciousness, isn't it? To come into Christ consciousness, into unity consciousness.
Right. What is Christ consciousness?
Well, there's the pure love energy which is sent out from the Creator, isn't there? The pure love frequency which extends down through the dimensions and out through the cosmos and all that exists. That energy of love and purity which we're all about to move into, isn't it? It's a wonderful, expansive energy that extends throughout the cosmos, connecting all that is in a wonderful experience of oneness. The one energy that we all share, the Creator energy of which we are all a part, the one spirit, one life. And through Christ consciousness, we come into the rhythm of all life, the one heart. So first, through the connection to the higher heart within ourselves, where that seed of Christ consciousness exists, and through connecting to our own higher heart, we connect to the heart of Gaia, to the heart of the galaxy, to the universal heart, and ultimately back to the Creator source. And as we enter into the cosmic sea of consciousness, we know that we are eternal, that consciousness is infinite, that we are part of all that is, that we are loved simply because we exist.
Is this the original state of humanity, do you think?
Well, we're all multi-dimensional, aren't we? And we all existed in the higher dimensions before we lowered ourselves into density and came into the third dimension. So it's about returning, isn't it? Because when we were in the fifth dimension, before we left the fifth dimension, then of course we would have been in that energy of the Christ love, the Christ light. So it is within us. It's just a matter of reawakening it, remembering it and returning to it.
Yeah. How do we start to return to Christ consciousness?
Well, but so much of it is about raising our frequency, isn't it? But one of the things we all need to be aware of and to practice is higher thoughts, higher feelings, and constantly work to raise our vibration and constantly bring down higher thoughts, higher feelings. So higher thoughts, higher feelings, for instance, would be that I am a divine being of light, that my physical body is not the truth of who I am, that I am unconditional love, thoughts of acceptance, forgiveness, love and compassion, harmony, balance, so on. So that is one part of our work which is very important, what we think and what we feel, and raising our frequency up so that we can get into that higher place in ourselves where we are perceiving that higher reality of unconditional love. And how do we raise our frequency? Well, we all know, don't we, that it's by constantly making that connection to spirit, to receive those higher frequencies that are being offered to us at the moment. And every time we feel a lower emotion, a lower experience, some density that we could drop into, to call to our guides, our teachers, our higher self, and bring in that higher frequency so that we're not overwhelmed by the lower energies. And even if we are experiencing a lower emotion or moving down into density in one part of ourselves, we can still maintain that higher aspect, that higher energy, which can pour that love and compassion, bring back that harmony and peace into the lower aspects.
What are some of the blocks that prevent this from happening?
Well, we all know about fear, don't we? And that we can choose at any time between love and fear. But I think one of the big things, of course, is judgment. And one of the other things is resistance to what we feel. And another thing is being unable to love ourselves. So those three things are very important. Since we moved into separation and then started to judge, which of course is the opposite of acceptance, through our conditioning and our programming that we grow up with, we judge ourselves, don't we? And we find ourselves to be unworthy, to not be good enough, to be unacceptable, and a lot of competition, a lot of comparing, and we grow up with all these things and we're not able to be our true selves. We even forget who we are, and we develop this ego personality that feels it must be a certain way, must behave in a certain way, present itself in a certain way in order to be acceptable and worthy of love, which of course is the opposite of the higher truth, that we are divine beings of light that have descended into the dimension, into a physical body, and we are loved simply because we exist. And when it comes to resistance, we started to judge our feelings and our experiences as either being good or bad. And the ones that we found painful, we started to resist. And it wasn't really ever that we weren't meant to experience those lower dimensional emotions as well as the higher ones. It was that it was the resistance to the painful emotions that created all the suffering and all the blocks, because we weren't allowing our emotional and feeling experiences to flow through us and out of us. And we suppressed them, we resisted them and locked them inside, so that they're now needing to be released, which is why there's so much work being done on healing and clearing.
What help are we receiving from the higher realms?
Of course, the most important thing that they are doing for us is giving us their energies as energies from the cosmos, from the great cosmic beings of light, from Creator Source, extend down through the dimensions and into the third dimension, into humanity, into Gaia, and into all life. We're now receiving from Jesus and Nanda, from the Andromedans, and from all the great beings and higher civilizations, the most wonderful frequencies of the Christ consciousness energy, the unconditional love, acceptance, forgiveness, compassion, all those qualities that are contained within the Christ energy are being radiated towards us, and they are entry into all life and to the and with a particular emphasis from the Andromedans on helping us to have self-love. Once we learn to love ourselves, then we can automatically feel love of all life and move out of separation and into oneness. And then we're filled with the love and joy of those higher dimensions. And when we feel ourselves going down into a lower density, or when we feel that we need help, all we need to do is make a call to our guides and teachers, to our higher self, to any of the higher beings, and they will fill us with the energy that we need. If we need strength and courage, if we feel alone, they'll fill us with love. All we have to do is ask, and all the support of their energies come into our energy field, into our being. And we simply need to have the intention, the higher intention.
Gorgeous. So, Carol, I know you're going to lead everyone into a meditation on awakening Christ consciousness, so I'll pass over to you now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. Well, let us begin by gently moving inwards. As we relax down into our bodies and to become aware of our breath as we simply breathe. As we become aware of our breath, we not only breathe in the air, but we also breathe in and absorb more of the energy of spirit, the life force. And we can breathe this into ourselves, into our lungs, but also down through our crown and into our being, through our central core, as we begin to fill with the light of spirit, and we gently move down and move inwards, and we draw into ourselves more and more of the light of spirit. And we find ourselves being able to come more and more deeply into the inner planes. There is no limit to the depth of the inner planes as we move more and more inwards into our true being, and gradually beginning to experience ourselves as a being of light. And we can find within the deepest place in our higher heart, that single point within, which is always still, always at peace, around which everything takes place. And we find ourselves in that point of stillness, simply a single point, but so expansive. And we feel the expansion moving out through our aura as our energy expands. And we gently rise into a higher frequency of light, And we make a call to our I Am presence. And we affirm to ourselves, I am as the light of the higher self, the light of our soul, through the I Am presence, gently descends through our crown and around our aura, as the light body gently embraces us in its love and light. And we allow our hearts to open. We allow ourselves to receive into our being, into our hearts, and into every cell of our body, the love and light that is being radiated to us from the higher realms. And I begin to bask in this energy, to feel its blissfulness. I feel comforted and nurtured. And through this love frequency expanding through the heart, I am able to move upwards and outwards, expanding my consciousness. Jesus Ananda said, I am the way, I am the light, I am the resurrection. He also said, greater things than I do will you do. Of course, through Jesus, Sananda is not the only way to come to Christ consciousness, but we can receive the energy of the Christ consciousness through Jesus, through Sananda. So let us open to His presence and allow Him to bring down, to fill us. And as we allow His being to merge with our own, we begin to experience unconditional love and purity beyond what we have been able to experience before. As He fills us with His love, we enter into a different realm. We experience ourselves as being infinite, eternal, divine. And we find ourselves in the sea of cosmic consciousness, part of all that is, in oneness with all. For in this place there is no fear, there is no pain or suffering. There is only love, purity. This is the true home of my soul. It is the place to which I wish to return. I know that when I return into my physical body, that I can bring with me this wonderful light of Christ, this wonderful frequency of love, which is beyond judgment, which accepts all, which has compassion for all. And as I bring this energy, this love, this light into my being, in my third dimensional self, that it has the ability to dissolve and to heal all that is past, all that I have resisted, all my pain and suffering, all my wounds are simply dissolved away as I bring into my third dimensional being the love of Christ. So I rest in the beauty of this experience, and I accept myself as a divine being, at one with the Creator, at one with all that is, in this infinite, limitless state of being. My heart is so filled with love, it overwhelms me, and I see beauty in all that is. I see perfection. I am now able to bring into my life joy. I can let go of all judgments. I can free myself from myself. I can liberate myself. The energy of the Christ through love. For I see the truth of who I am. I know myself now as a divine being of light. I know that it was my soul's purpose to descend into third dimensional density, and to now bring the Christ energy down into third dimensional matter, uniting spirit with matter, that I may live my third dimensional life in love and joy, and that I can give this love and joy to all life and to the beloved Gaia. And the earth will change and transform, and the new earth will come into our perception, into our reality, as we create what we wish for through our thoughts and through the love in our heart and through the love of Christ. We come into oneness and unity consciousness, where the ego self, the personality self, the desires of the ego change, and we move from ego desire into the desire of the highest good for all, with an overwhelming wish to serve. And the light of Christ fills every cell in my body, fills my heart, and fills my mind. my heart and mind fills with gold and diamond light. And as I remember my enlightenment, that I am already an enlightened being, my purpose here is fulfilled.